NFL Daily Mailbag is made possible by Magic Spoon. Get $5 off your first order at magicspoon.com/chat. That link, by the way, will be clickable in both the comment section and it'll be in the description. From Karen, do the Cowboys have a chance to see if Dak gets healthy the whole year? The Cowboys would have run away with the NFC East last year, as bad as the defense and O-line was, if they had Dak Prescott. I have zero doubts about that. So yes, now if you mean NFC East chance, absolutely. Super Bowl is probably still asking for a little bit too much, but as long as Dak is out there healthy, they are going to have a chance pretty much every single game. From Nick Fury, can Seattle win a Super Bowl with the performance they have given us? If they keep that up, yeah. Now, I think the competition level, especially with the opposing offenses they face, is going to be a lot tougher. When you face Matthew Stafford and the Rams, Kyler Murray in Arizona, even San Francisco and whether it's Garoppolo or Lance by then, I think those offenses are going to be better than the Colts with Carson Wentz and a bunch of injured receivers. So, tougher competition coming, but a great start for Seattle. From ANEESH Call, or however you say it, who's better, Roquan Smith or Jalen Smith? It's not even close, it's Roquan. Like, Jalen Smith is a backup linebacker now for the Cowboys. Unquestionably, it is Roquan Smith. ANEESH, who is the Week 1 MVP? My picks are Russell Wilson, Chandler Jones, Kyler Murray, or Patrick Mahomes. I kind of want to give it to Jones because defenders never win it. So I think I'll go Chandler Jones. The other three names, great names to pick as well. But give me Chandler Jones and his freaking 5 sacks in Week 1. Insane. SM, coaches already on the hot seat. I mean, do OCs count? Jason Garrett. I would almost wonder if you kind of have to include here, not Vic Fangio, Mike Zimmer, rough start. Urban Meyer, is he on there? A lot of the early hot seat candidates, like, Vic Fangio won his game, Cliff Kingsbury won his game, Zach Taylor won his game. Those guys are still in a bit of a shaky situation, but are the losers? Look, I'm looking at Mike Zimmer, maybe a bit of a long shot, but maybe. And I will also look towards Jason Garrett as the OC, because how can you not? Super chat from Marc Mullo. Tom, your percent chance the Vikings make the playoffs this season. Thanks, as always, for your responses. You're welcome, Mark. Thank you so much. 15, 25, somewhere in that range. Like, they lost to the Bengals. That's not good. So I'm not ruling them out altogether. It helps the Packers and Bears and Lions all lost as well in Week 1. But that Vikings team has to play a lot better. And I still got concerned about that defense. So I'm not ruling them out, but it is an uphill battle right now. Omar Shelton, will the Steelers win the AFC North and get the bye? I think that's asking for just a little bit too much, to be honest. I have a difficult time seeing how they can win the AFC North, even over the Ravens and Browns. It's a tough division, and beat those teams frequently enough to also get the bye. I still think that the Chiefs, if not the Ravens, I'm sorry, Steelers fans, are the AFC North favorites. That defense, though, make no mistake, is going to keep them in almost every single game this year. Now, you can vote Pittsburgh if you want. It was a huge win over the Bills. Make no mistake about that. Who is the best team in the NFL after Week 1? I'm going Chiefs, but I want you guys to get your votes in. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So get the ad break here, scroll on down, and get your votes in. Alizay Pin, rate your top 5 defensive teams this season. I mean, we just mentioned Pittsburgh. They are for sure in there. I still think long-term, the Bucs are also going to be in that conversation as well. I think a lot of your usual contenders, the Ravens, always want to have a great defense. I still like Washington, and I think the Saints are in there too. They had a good defense last year, performed again this time around. I like Washington Cardinals. I don't know if they keep it out, but maybe it's a sleeper fit there, is what my producer Marshall's telling me in my ear. From Scott, not a Lions fan, but Goff and Lions played way better than I thought they would. Go Raiders. Well, we'll see what happens in that game tonight, Scott, as we are filming this, of course, live on Monday. I thought the Lions played a lot better in the fourth quarter. 17 points over 3 quarters offensively, not bad. But let's not forget, entering that fourth quarter, it was 38 to 17? Wasn't really close until very, very late. So they did play better. Goff went for 338. That's a good sign, but they're not there yet, I don't think. Evan Hinders, should San Francisco call Todd Gurley? Nah, they don't need him. They got Elijah Mitchell, JaMychal Hasty, and Trey Sermon. Not household names, but it's Shanahan offense. You don't need household names. From Joshua, with a healthy Joe Burrow, can the Bengals sneak into the playoffs? I would say let's see more than just one game. A healthy Burrow gives them more chances. And the schedule early isn't that tough. You've got Vikings, Bears, tough one against the Steelers on the road, Jacksonville, Green Bay, at Detroit. So they might be in the mix, but their end-of-season schedule is just brutal, guys. Get this stretch. Ready? Raiders, Steelers, Chargers, Niners, Broncos, Ravens, Chiefs, Browns. Those are all, if not likely, at least just as caliber playoff team-wise as the Bengals. So I think they start hot. I worry about the end-of-season stretch for Cincinnati. It's going to be very, very tough. So hold off on owning them as a playoff team for now. They got a chance to start hot. It gets very tough down the stretch. Today's show is made possible by Magic Spoon. Get $5 off your first order at magicspoon.com/chat. This cereal is high in protein and low in carbs. 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, 0 sugar as well. It is the perfect blend of health and taste. Despite the 0 sugar, this stuff tastes incredible. Just like the cereal we all ate when we were kids, only now it's actually good for us. So we'll get $5 off your first order at magicspoon.com/chat. It's magicspoon.com/chat. Get that deal today. There will be a link, by the way, clickable for you guys in the comments section and in the description. Apex, Melvin Gordon will be top 3 in rushing. Am I crazy or? That's probably asking for too much, given that as good as Melvin Gordon was, he is barely third right now, and he only had 11 carries. The efficiency is not going to stay that high. I think that's the key area for Melvin Gordon. I think he'll drop back. He's going to have a good year. I like him, but Javonte Williams had too much impact, too many opportunities for Gordon, I think, to end up being top 3. Christian Navarro, does Dak need to open his eyes a little more? Needs to be traded? I don't know what you're talking about. Dak was, I feel like you're trolling here, Christian. I appreciate that. Dak was awesome in week 1. Like, Dak played incredible. So I assume you're trolling. If so, well done. Dak was the reason why the Cowboys were in the mix in week 1. From ANEESH, Shane Waldron be the key for Wilson to have a second-half meltdown. I agree. I think that if the Seahawks offense, I mentioned this earlier, doubled their play-action pass rate, that's a big deal. You should utilize play-action. It's the best play call for any quarterback, frankly. So they got to remain adjustable. That was their issue last year, but I do think Waldron is having a positive impact early on Russell Wilson. Nick Fury, 55. Stephon Gilmore to Seattle. Is it possible? Gilmore's on the PUP list, so he's not back for 6 weeks. I don't think Stephon Gilmore is getting traded. I don't think the timing of him being healthy is going to match up. And Seattle, by the way, doesn't really have the draft capital to truly make that work. From Nuk'd House, what's a team that came in this week 1 and put it together I think will unravel throughout the season? Is this low-hanging fruit? Houston Texans. Because that's like the most obvious answer, but I'm worried it's a little bit too low. I'll get hate for this, I know. I loved what the Eagles did week 1. I think the Falcons are bad. So Philly makes some sense. I am concerned about both the Steelers' offense and the Cardinals against better defenses. Those two teams Al mentioned. I also think this. I doubt the Saints win every single game 30-3. I think they're a playoff contender, but I think they come back down to earth at least a little bit. George Poole, if Russell Wilson keeps this up, will he win NFL MVP? Our yearly debate, Russ for MVP, maybe. Super efficient, 18 of 23 for 254 and 4 scores. The hype around Russ is always going to be an option for them to be in the MVP race. But you've got Kyler Murray, you got Mahomes, you got probably Lamar Jackson too. I think Josh Allen will bounce back. Other quarterbacks, like maybe a Dak Prescott emerge throughout the year, Tom Brady. So Russ, I think, will be in this conversation. But I got to see more of it for an entire season before I give him the MVP like I erroneously did after the first 7 games of last season. So who will win NFL MVP? Make your way too early predictions. Who will win NFL MVP in 2021? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. 12L, Steelers top defense after week 1 versus a very good Bills offense. I think you have to give it to the Saints because they shut down the Packers, who have a better offense than the Bills, but the Steelers are right there. Whether they're 1, 2, or 3, whatever, I think the Steelers are definitely in that conversation. From Gary Sanderson, you think Zach Taylor was on the hot seat after the win? I think my answer here is yes. And the big reason why I'd say that is because if they come out and lose to the Bears, isn't he right back on the hot seat? Which means he's not really off it. So I still think Taylor is on the hot seat. This does cool it down, but if they don't have a lot of success, I think he's going to find himself in trouble. Evan Hinders, should the Chargers trade 2 third-round picks to the Colts for Michael Pittman Jr.? No. I think Pittman's too important for the Colts long-term. They don't have the receivers, by the way. And the Chargers still have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I think they're okay at receiver. So I think both teams say no. Johnny Lopez, are the Eagles a threat to Dallas? I think they played a great against the bad team in the Falcons. I got to see more of it. I mean, we've seen Hurts in the past. If the short stuff's taken away, which it was not against the Falcons, if the running's taken away, which it was not against the Falcons, he's had some issues. So I loved what I saw out of Philadelphia in week 1. That Falcons team, and their head coach admitted it, was not prepared for week 1. I'm not going to anoint Philadelphia. Let's see them against better competition. They got the Niners this week, then the Cowboys. We'll know if they're a threat to the Cowboys by the time week 3 comes and goes. If you guys got daily, So if you guys have questions, if you want to get them on the show, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way, you don't miss out moving forward. From Mark, do the Browns make the playoffs? I know we're kind of dabbling in the moral victory side of things, given that the Browns they should have won that game. That was, 23-7 in the second half. They kind of blew it against the Chiefs. The Browns were a playoff team last year. They are, if not better, about the same. I think Cleveland is a playoff team this year. I will bet at minimum they're a wild card team in 2020, assuming, of course, everyone stays healthy. From Karen, who do you think will win the Super Bowl or make it there? My initial prediction was Chiefs-Packers as Aaron Rodgers' revenge tour gets underway. Not a great start for Aaron Rodgers week 1, so I will stick by my gut. I don't feel that confident right now. From Sean, the Chiefs need another pass rusher. I mean, I'm never going to say no to more pass rush options. I'll say this. Chris Jones looked okay coming off the edge for KC. I was a bit surprised by that one. I think KC's pretty much where they're at with their defense. I wouldn't expect a major move. Maybe some veteran becomes available in the trade deadline they can call. But I think between Clark, who's got his own issues, Jones, Okafor, maybe Kando, I think they'll be okay. But sure, I don't mind looking at the market to see what becomes available. Now, I want you guys to name a player who you want your team to go sign. Any free agent, mention your team too. Let me know in the comments section. ANEESH ANAND, top 5 teams after week 1. Chiefs, Bucks, Rams, Seahawks, and Cardinals. I was not that high on the Steelers entering week 1. I had them over the Cardinals, though. I think I would put Pittsburgh in there, at least for now, just because they looked really good, especially defensively in week 1. From Michael Panza, should have Washington sign Cam Newton? That was actually one of our big stories on our rumors video. Check that out. The vaccine stuff is a major problem for Cam Newton. It complicates a team signing. They have to wait 5 days to bring him in. That really has a negative impact on the timing. So it's possible. I wouldn't mind it. I'm not going to say it's a done deal quite yet. From AZH call, are the Eagles a good team this year? They had a good week 1. I don't want to anoint them yet because that team still has question marks for me, especially defensively. If they can execute the same offense, yes. It will get tougher, though, moving forward for Philadelphia. The King, are there any good corners left from my Seahawks in free agency? How's Richard Sherman doing mentally? Seriously, other than that, no, there's no one good out there. Like, they traded for all those guys because there was nobody else. So it's going to be replacing your back end of the roster guys. No one out there right now in free agency is going to be an instant upgraded starter. Because of that, the answer is probably no.